Morning, troops. Let these doors down, we'll get some frickin' heat going in here. Probably back the studio out. Actually, I might do that shortly. If I can. Oh. Fuck. Yeah, we'll have to see. Might have to see if I can move that Hilux back a little bit. Out of the road a little bit so I can get that out. Because I want to do spraying in here. Clean the butt. So you'll want to spray these panels on the inside. We'll get yourself in a tripod here. Yeah, hang on. We'll get yourself sorted out here. I'm just about finished scuffing this bonnet hood. And then I'll flip it over to the underside and then we get some heat in here. Get some primer laid on these panels. Righty, hope you can hear me okay. So I'm kind of ready to spray. I'm just trying to get a bit more temp into the paint because it's been sitting under the shelf. It's been pretty cold lately. I've just got it sitting on a couple of boxes in front of that heater, you know, a few feet back. Just trying to get some temp into the can, give it a shake and sit it back down for another few minutes and give it another shake, just to try and get it to thin out and run out, get a bit more runny, so it's not so thick. I'm basically ready to go. I've got everything prepped and blown down and wiped down. I've drained the compressor, drained all my tracks, all that sort of stuff. Got my gun precious roughly set. Checked over my frickin' shit spray gun. Primer. Got that working properly, I hope. Appears to be spraying properly with just thinners in it. So yeah, at some point I will get myself a better frickin' primer gun. I don't want to cause too much dust at the moment, start shifting stuff around, but once I get this primer on, and after about half an hour or so, depending on what the time is when I'm finished, we'll start moving some of the stuff upstairs. And we'll try and make some room over here. And we'll try and work out what we're going to do with this duck truck amphibious thing from World War II. Try and work out how we're going to get it in there. I want to try and get in that bay if I can. We were talking about last night, because that would leave me here free for working room for making bits and pieces on other stuff as well, like a couple of cars, hopefully. And because that's so big, mainly I'm going to be working inside it for a start off. I think from just talking, when we get it here, we'll have a really good look around it, work out what we need to, what he wants me to fix first, and go from there. I think it's going to be one of sort of those rolling on, as long as everything goes well for the first part of it. It'll carry on, if you know what I mean. It's got a few projects on the go. This guy owns a military museum that I didn't even realise existed. So it's quite cool. It'll be an ongoing project. It'll just depend on, I think, how that first session goes on it. The first sort of 4 or 5 weeks work. With the budget he's sort of got, I don't think I'm going to be supplying many materials per se. Obviously, I'll still have to be probably charging a little bit for some cutting discs or lining discs, unless he can get me a whole bulk load and I can have it here. Some stuff we'll have to get myself. But yeah, I think most of the materials and bits and pieces will be sorted. But yeah, it needs a bit of sort of structural stuff on the inside. It's not bad. A lot of it I think bits and pieces have been done, but yeah, I'm not really sure. I've only really had a look at it for frickin' 10-15 minutes. That little short clip that I threw on the end of the video. But yeah, it's just got to try and get a balance there somehow. Get it in. Like I said, we're only going to have a little bit of room each side. Actually, see if I can find a big tape measure, and I'll mark out before how big this fucking thing is. Oh. Righty. So to give you a rough perspective, so it's about that wide. It's 2.4 meters wide, whatever that is, 8 feet-ish wide, and it's that long. So we're going to have about this much room at the front to walk around it. It wouldn't be too bad, but yeah, and probably not much more than that. So it would be better off in this bay if I can get it clear. It just means be less obstructions around it, to try and work around it. You know what I mean? Like the bike might have to go somewhere else, which wouldn't fucking worry me in the slightest. You know, and we'll have a little bit of room at the back. So come back a little bit, but yeah, we're not going to have a lot of room around it. You know, about 4 foot at the back and about 4 foot at the front is about as much we're going to have, and it's 8.1, I think, to the edge of the top of the hole. I think that's what it is, or it might be 7 point something. Might be top of the windscreen, might be 8.1 foot. So yeah, she's a big bitch. And I'm going to be mainly inside it for a start off, I think. So yeah, as long as we can get the bastard of everything in there, yeah, that's the biggest problem, because it's got no, it's still got all its wheels on it, it's still got its diffs and stuff in it, but it's nothing on the inside. It's got no engine or gearbox or transfer cases or any extra stuff, because it's all out, so you can work on it. And the motor and the gearboxes and everything's all being rebuilt. They should be going back in it at some time, shortly-ish, but yeah, we need to sort of have it down here so we can get all that stuff done on the inside, so the motor and box can go back in it, and drive shafts and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it doesn't leave you a lot of room if it's in here if you want to try and move stuff around. So really, we're thinking it would be better off over here, because the bays is just as wide. There's no worries with that. But yeah, it would be better in here, because you just, like, you got the clear span at the back here, but you've got the clear span front and back here. Like, you just might have a few bolts and bits and pieces on the wall, but you don't have the benches and tools and cupboards and so much in the road, except for this bench. But that won't matter quite so much. We can jiggle that back across if we have to. Yeah, we think it might be just a better plan. We're just not sure on that yet. Have to work on it, but this would be the ideal space, because it would still leave me here to work on cars. So I can have a couple of cars in here, or a car in here that I can work on in between times. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. We're gonna work out some plans to get rid of some junk out of the road. Anyway, I'll give this another shake up and we'll make some paint, so I think that should be hot enough now. At the moment, it's not terribly warm in here, but it's getting warmer. It's 13 degrees. It feels quite mild, but the air temperature is quite good. The panels are, they're still cool, but they're not too bad. And the temperature's only going to get warmer. The sun is out, but yeah, like, I don't want the doors open right at the moment. But yeah, at least with the paint being hot, it'll help. Or hotish, if you know what I mean. I don't want it too hot, but it'll be warm. But anyway, throw it back up on here, and we'll get into it. we'll turn everything over and give the other sides a quick wipe down, and we'll blow some primer on there. Right, I just turned everything over, giving it a light scuff with Scotch-Brite just around the edges, sort of, well, just a general wipe over really, and where I've blown the primer on that top edge, I've given that a light scuff, so just any overspray in and around that area is kind of gone. I'm just going to give everything a blow down and a quick wipe, and then we'll mix up some more primer, and we'll smash it on these doors and this bonnet or hood, and I might just blow another pass over that front piece as well, just to help get a little more build on it. That's not too bad, but there's a few little bits and pieces where I'm probably going to have to put a little bit of glaze in there, but if I get a little more hide board on there, it might block out, you know what I mean? Like, the thicker that is, the more I can block it down to get it almost out, so it ain't going to hurt. It ain't going to hurt, so that's cool. Noticed a couple of bad pinholes, so I just filled a couple of real shockers after I blew the doors off. There's a couple of like quite good sized little pinholes, so I just filled them, and a couple of little marks that will it'll go off pretty quick. We'll just give it a quick wee scuff, and with the Scotch-Brite, I won't panic about taking. I've scraped it off pretty thin, so just give it a light wee scuff with the Scotch-Brite, and we'll give it another blow down. Right, I had a couple of bad little pinholes when I blew the doors off before. This one here was okay. There was a couple of little marks in it since I had some glaze mixed up, but there was a couple of real bad ones in here. Like they're really quite big. They're almost they wouldn't have been that round, but they would be, you know, sort of maybe half that, but a brazing wire. There's a couple of real bad deep ones, so just filled them, and there was a few smaller but badder ones on here too, so we just put a bit in there. There's still the odd one, but I'm not too stressed. I just got the real bad ones. Hopefully a few coats of primer. I'm planning on putting at least 4 if not more on these especially. That'll do. I'll probably just do 2, and we'll see what it's like. It shouldn't really need any more than 2, and then just a nice block out with some 400, and maybe add a little bit of 600, and then we'll obviously blow colour on it and clear on it. In a couple of days' time, we're still waiting on the paint to turn up, to be mixed and turned up. So we haven't really panicked too much, but yeah, it'll be a day or so before we get that, but that'll give me a day to sort a lot of this shit out and get it out of the fucking road. Probably going to do that tomorrow. I might get the missus to give me a hand. We'll shuffle some of this around a little bit, so hopefully we can get that duck in here. Like I said, yeah, it's going to be somewhere around about here to the door, and something like that towards the front. Same sort of distance, about 1.5 meters. So 1 meter's about 3 feet ish, and yeah, 1.5 meters. So about 4-ish feet, and we're going to have about to walk around the end of it. It mightn't be quite that much. So I know it's a bit over 9, and it's about 9.5 meters, or it's 31 and a point something feet long. So it's a big bastard. And this is 12 meters, which I think's 40. Yeah, so there's only a couple of feet at each end, really. So we can get in here, we'll have basically a full clean bay, and we'll scooch a lot of those bolts and bits and pieces and shit in behind the tractor, and we'll get all that other frickin' shit for the sturdy up on top. We'll shuffle it up and the top's there, and hopefully we'll even try and get this fucking bike out of the road and whatever, and then we'll have that whole bay, and I'll just bring that over here. I want to make that actually smaller, maybe turn it into a rolling bench. We'll see. Like we built it to put a dolly on for bodies, but it's kind of too big. It needs to be a bit smaller than that. Depending on what happens with this 51, if I can get this 51 in here from the south, we might end up making that smaller, and we'll split the chassis from the body and clean the chassis out and paint it and put it back together, if you know what I mean, depending on what we need. But that's like a future project. Like we're talking at least a couple of months down the track, if we can, depending on what sort of funds we get for this first chunk of the truck duck thingy. Yeah, depending on how that works out, what sort of free funds we got at the end of it, yeah, hopefully we'll get that 51. I might even really lowball the guy and just see what he says. Might be able to get it for maybe even $1,000 for $1,500 or something like that. He wants a couple of grand for it, but so yeah. But I know it's still on marketplace. It was the other day when I had a look. So yeah. Anyway, we'll stop waffling. I'll start sorting the paint out, and then we'll just give this stuff a quick scuff. I might just go give that hood a decent wipe down with some wax and grease, and because I'm not sure what's been on that paint, if you know what I mean, on that black, especially on the top. Wasn't too panicked about the underside of it, and we'll give these just a quick wipe off, and yeah, we'll go from there. Right, so apart from one small issue, but it shouldn't be too much of an issue. I got when I blew across the front of the bonnet the last time, not just before, just when I did the last coat, I blew across the front of the bonnet. I think was that one. I think that time. Yeah, I think it was. I must have went a bit slow because I was pouring it on these doors a bit slower to get a bit more of a build. I just went a bit slow across the front, and it sagged on me, but I just blew another coat over it with what was left in the gun before, so hopefully that'll just sand out okay. And I had a freaking bug land in it, and because I had it done an extra couple of coats in there, I sort of flicked it out and then puffed a wee bit more on, so we'll just have to make sure we get that bit of shit off it. But apart from that, we should be okay, apart from we've been freaking around with the front now. Just got to be careful that we get that decent, but it should be okay. Worst comes to worst, we'll just put an extra, if I put a coat on and I can see, like when we put the colour on, if I can see there's any marks in here, I'll just so I know what I'll do. Before I spray the underside, I might just blow a little bit of colour across here and just check. make sure I can't see any runs in there, and then I can turn it over and do that. And then before we paint the other side, I can give that another wee wet sand if I have to. That's probably the way around it. Just in case there's any marks. There's got to be clear on it and everything, but you don't want it. I'm not sure I think it might be a metallic, I'm not sure, it might be very low metallic, but yeah, I don't want any light runs showing. But these here should be pretty good for a block out. I think they should come up pretty reasonable. Like obviously we'll have to put another 3 or 4 coats on afterwards. The only reason I used the Robolo instead of the other primer is because I didn't want to use Dad's primer for that bonnet or hood for the Jag, so I'd rather, as long as everything's good, I'll use this time. That's next time for the doors when I do the extra 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever they need to bring them up to standard once I'm give them a fucking good block out. But yeah, so table different doesn't like paint, but that's alright. That looks, with a rub out, that'll be good. We'll just wet sand that with a bit of, we'll just sand it with a bit of 400. Should be fine. It's down below the grill. It's not going to be really seen anyway, as long as it's decent. And get that sorted. Yeah, and we'll have a start having a sort out tomorrow, try and get that other frickin' thing in here. I think there's going to be some people in here the next day or two mucking around with some other shit as well, so that's got nothing to do with me. But yeah, so they give me an opportunity to have a clean up while they're doing some other shit. I think they're making something, I'm not sure, something to do with the owner of the building. But yeah, that's fine. I'm probably not going to be painting this until Friday or anyway or whatever. He's not too stressed, I don't think. But yeah, at least now we can give these a decent workout and we can pick up some of the shit where where you miss the edges and whatever. And that's cool. Sprayed a bit extra in somewhere that I could still see some pinholes and bits and pieces that I didn't get. Poured a bit extra on there to help fill her up. Keel, right, we'll bugger off. I'll turn that heater right down, so I'll turn it off. Should be okay now. I don't want that to kick back on. Turn that off, and yeah, see you tomorrow. Right, morning, got a whole heap of noise going on here, so basically I'm going to pull the bumper off if I can get it off. So I get that bolt out of there. There's a bracket that holds the bonnet catch, hood catch on. It broke off down the bottom, so I've got to get that fixed. And then I've got brand new radiator and condenser and all those sorts of bits and pieces that I'm going to put on afterwards, and basically hopefully get everything else on the front except for the little filler panel and the bonnet, because we've still got to paint that. But I just want to get this sorted, and then basically I can get everything else back on and test fit the headlights and the grille and all that sort of stuff. Because I'll probably have to do a little bit of tweaking around that front piece yet. Yeah, but first thing we need to do is get that broken bolt at least out so I can get something else in there. So we'll do that. Right, so we've got everything back in. We're short a couple of bolts. One because we broke one and I've robbed one from down there. So I need one for in here. I think that's all I really need. I think I'll just go, oh, Dad, I haven't got anything here. That's 6mm. I used to have lots of this sort of stuff, but with moving around and whatever. So I'll shoot round to Dad's. He was bound to have a box of this stuff floating around, so I'll grab 2 or 3 or 4 just in case. I'll just swap the bolts back over for the hood bolts. While I put them in there, it's like, oh yeah, they're red. They must have been in there, but yeah, no, they weren't. So they got to go on the hood. So we'll sit them back over there with the other one wherever I did with it. Oh, it's in the bonnet. Or hood. Just put it in there. So yeah, we're just going to put the bolts back in the bumper, but I'll just leave it loose just in the meantime. I've got 2 back in here. I couldn't work out. It's got like this weird bracket that hooks on this bolt that's got like a little plastic nut thing on it, which I took off that end, but I couldn't get it right off. But I only needed to get into the fix that bolt anyway, so I just left it off. Fortunately, I did left it loose because I couldn't get that in from the top. I think I actually took that out through there from memory. But yeah, I just managed to drop this down a little bit and slip that on from underneath. So we've got that all buttoned up. So that will have to be re-gassed, but I'm not too worried about that. He can sort that. So yeah, got to get a couple of, just a couple of bolts just to in there. It doesn't look like there's been anything in these, but I'll just grab it. I'll grab a couple of extras just in case I'm short something somewhere else. Because I do remember dropping a couple out there, but I think I picked them up, but I can't remember exactly, if you know what I mean. We've still got lights and stuff to put in. But lights, that was held in with screws, I think. There was a screw in that one, and the rest of it's just clipped in, just held in. And that's just, pretty sure it's just clipped in and held in with the grill, I think. There's no bugger all holding that in there. I think it's partly this, so you will have to test that. We'll test fit all that shortly. I just want to get that on, and then we'll put the lights and stuff back in it. We'll slip the grill on. We'll make sure that we'll put the bumper back on, and we'll make sure that lines up. And I might give this a smack with a rubber hammer just to. It's all fucking been bent and twisted, but we'll see how it fits. I'm not going to bother straightening this because he's probably bound to bend it again. It doesn't really matter. It's not as though he cleans it or anything. It's just we just got to make it right. So yeah, all buttoned up. I put that clip. It was actually easier to get that clip from underneath on the side for the bottom hose on the radiator itself. It was down underneath. So obviously, I tried to get that pan off, but that bolt's been rounded off. So I was just like, oh, so I just put it in from the side. I could get it in. I just had to tweak the edge of that pan down a little bit just so I could get a better position. So that's cool. So that's all in. All we're going to do is hook that up really and put some fluids in it and or some coolants in it, which I should have a whole heaps in there here, because we've actually got to put coolant in that as well at some point. But yeah, we just need to go get a couple of bolts, which we'll go do, and yeah, come back and we'll put the rest of that together and just double check, make sure everything else fits. Just I'm gonna have to tweak a wee bit here, so that's why I want to get all that fitted, and then probably after noon sometime we'll give that a block out, and mainly around the front where that run is, unfortunately, and yeah, then I'll be ready to paint when we get the paint tomorrow. Hopefully it's not. Be nice to get painted tomorrow if I can. Oh, and we've got to strip that hood. Right, morning guys. So I just got this out here running. I just put some water in it. I've got coolant here, but this has got green in it, and that's a premix and it's yellow. We were going to put it in that. Haven't got round to putting in that yet. Because I haven't got back to that. I've kind of forgotten about it. But one of these days, very shortly, we'll get back into doing a little bit on that. Maybe even tomorrow or something like that. We'll just see what it goes on. I might end up painting this tomorrow. Just not sure when the paint's going to be here. But anyway, so yeah, like this light's not too bad now. It's still got a wee bit of a gap down here, but I had to pull a lot of this back out and pull this all out in here. It had all been pushed back, not a lot, but enough to be annoying. So this all sat wonky, and then I had to pull some of this out. I didn't have enough bend in the middle of this, had to pull this out. Just lots of little spots where these here, it's where all the grill pieces fit in. So when I had this in here, I had to keep pulling this out till all this lined up and then straighten all this bracket out. I don't think I'm going to bother about painting that. I might just flick a little bit of I might just tape this out and tape this out, put a wee bit of tape in there and just puff a little bit of red on the end of that just to colour it up. I don't think it'll matter much, if you know what I mean. We'll just see, or I might even just brush a little bit on here. I don't think it's worth stripping all the paint off for that little corner just to put a little bit of paint back on it. So yeah, I had to muck around with that to get that all in better orientation and just screwed around, had that headlight and everything all out. Oh, and I think it was this piece. Yeah, this piece here was cracked on this light. So I just got some normal, just staples out of a staple gun. And I'll just show you what I mean. I think I've got a couple over here left. I think here, just these, just normal old staples, and I just got a pair of pliers. I just bent them into a zigzag and then heated up the soldering bolt, and I just pushed them into the plastic and then just got some zip ties and just put some extra plastic in amongst it, just to give it a bit extra meat. So yeah, I put them in across and around and all and around that bracket, so hopefully that should be strong. If it breaks, it will just have to get another little, it's actually a separate piece from the light itself. It comes off, so worst comes to worst, if it does happen to come loose or break off, we can get the little bracket and replace it. So yeah, I don't know why that looks so clean. It must have been replaced at some point reasonably recently. I'm not 100% sure why, but no, I did straighten the bumper out a little bit across here. I just pushed it down. It's actually pretty soft metal, that shit. I actually thought it was heavier, but it's just pretty thin shit. So yeah, just muck around it a whole bit. I've just got it running, trying to get it up right at the temp to make sure everything is flowing and haven't got any issues, or I don't think there will be. There wasn't a lot of damage in here. It's just we just want to make sure everything's right and it's water's circulating properly and whatever. And there's quite a bit of coolant in the block, but it will probably have to just drop a bit out of it and top it up with some fresh concentrate at some point. I've just had this running here for a while. It's just starting to come up on temp now. So yeah, still coldish in there, it's not hot yet. So I'll just let it run for a bit longer and just let it get a good circulation and make sure it is right. And I'm about to strip the bonnet off, but the main reason why I didn't show anything yesterday afternoon is because these guys were all in here, there's about 10 of them, making these stoat rat possum, I think this might be stoat traps or rat traps. Yeah, it might be rat. I thought they were possum as well, but I think they're just rat and stoats over here. Must be, they're in the Rotary Club, I think it is. Or one of those sort of types of clubs, like, you know, the Lions clubs. I'm pretty sure they're all over the world. And they're making them for one of the native bush areas around here somewhere. So there's a whole heap of them. They're here making them. They started making this stuff yesterday, which is a bit of a fucking pain in the ass, because I would like to get this place cleaned up so I can get this fucking duck in here. Otherwise, I'm going to be completely out of fucking pocket shortly. So yeah, they got a whole pile of fucking timber to cut up, ply, make these traps. So I thought they were only being here for frickin' one day, and I thought, oh yeah, it's fine, you know, I don't mind. It's not as though I'm doing much anything else, if you know what I mean. But actually, how much dirt and crap do they get in there when they fucking climb in and out? Fuck's sake, who the fuck did that? Anyway, but yeah, so it's a pain in the ass. So God knows how many times I want to be in here again. So if I get this place all cleaned up, you know, this is where I want to put the duck and whatever, and I want to get some other vehicles in here. I want to try and get, if I can get that 57 in here a wall, if a guy will fucking get back to me. But yeah, so I got to strip this bonnet off, and I got to live that a block. I was going to stay here late yesterday and block it, but with the amount of fucking noise they were making, I was like, no, I'm not freaking hanging around. So we'll strip this off, we'll give this a block out. So mainly just, yeah, we'll give it a block out. It's mainly just the front where I wouldn't really need to hit it properly, because I got this fucking running here. And I'm not too worried about this stuff. We'll just give that a light sand, make sure it's okay. And yeah, then at least we're ready to paint. And we'll just get all the crap off this. While we're waiting, I'll probably just about turn this off now. That should be fine. Yeah, water's just starting to warm up there now. In the radiator. Yeah, it's just starting to get a bit of heat in there, unless it's starting to really flow around. Anyway, we'll catch you later on, and we'll give you an update when we're getting a bit further on with this stuff. Right, morning. It's actually Sunday morning. I actually come down here to see, because they're still freaking around with these freaking boxes. I don't know what they're doing and how long they're going to go and all that sort of bullshit. Like, it doesn't look like they're even near finished. Like, they've still got that whole stack of wood there to cut up. And I know the owner went into town on Friday afternoon, but I don't reckon he's got the paint for this yet. So I thought if the paint was here, I would just about spray it, but it doesn't look like it, does it? Which is kind of freaking pain in the ass. But anyway, yeah. Well, that's right. I thought if the paint was here, I'd probably brick that and paint the underside of it. Was mine with kind of thoughts, but it doesn't look like it, so I won't bother. I just grabbed the young fella's ball that I was going to pump up, but I haven't got one of those ear fittings here for balls. I thought I had one. I think Dad's got one. But yeah, well, I was really hoping these guys had spent frickin' yesterday doing all this shit, but it doesn't look like they've done hardly anything. That's a pain in the ass. Hopefully they might spend down here today, get some of the stuff done. Because I don't really want to be freaking wasting too much more time. I need to get this area cleaned up.
I was actually talking to the guy yesterday with the duck, that amphibious truck, if you're not sure what I'm talking about. And he was asking me how I was getting on with getting this sorted out to get it in here. I said, well, I was going to be doing it like the end of this week, but they're in here making these bloody rat traps. And they've got a whole pile to make. I think they're going to make 60. So yeah, they definitely haven't made 60. What have they made? 6th year. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 18, 19. So about 20-ish. They had a pile of stuff down there, but the pile of it's over there. So yeah, they've like about a third of the way through. I think that's the number I heard, and just by looking at that, that's probably about right. Far out. Yeah. And I know that's out of fuel, so it's very awkward to move, but I could cover it up just to spray the red on the inside, but I didn't really want to do it right there. But yeah, it's not what I had planned. I just thought if they'd had the majority of the stuff done, I'd spray the red on the inside of that, at least I could flip it over and do the red on the top side tomorrow, or whatever. I'm hoping I'm going to look at this other 57, what do you want to call it, Rambler today. I'm hoping. I was talking to the guy on Friday, and said that, or it was Friday or Thursday, I can't remember, and said to him, look, is there any chance we can go have a look at this other car, maybe to get that started, like if I can get that duck in here. So I'll do a bit on yours, one day a week or something like that, to get it sort of rolling, if you know what I mean. And also gives me something else to do. But yeah, it's not sure what's going on here yet. That's kind of annoying. Like, I'm here trying to make a business out of it. It's very hard to keep going, especially when I'm out of fucking funds to do anything. I can't make money if I can't freaking get in here and work. Anyway, we'll carry on.
Right, welcome back to Monday morning. So I decided I may as well clean this piece up. Just shuffle that crap down in there. Pick up a few bits and pieces. So this, I don't know if you can see that. It's like, I think it's a shearing blade sander sharpener thing. I think that's what it's designed for. So yeah, I'm just cleaning that crap up. The rest of that stuff is Studebaker, pretty much. So a lot of that will go upstairs when I get a chance to get around there and get it up. I'll probably need a hand with that. We'll work that out at the time. Might, I don't know, throw a rope. Some of it I'll be able to drag up with a rope or something like that. Tie a few pieces together and pull it up. And then some of it obviously we'll have to leg up. Like there's their fuel tank and bits and pieces like that. Like, it's junk, but it's a good pattern, especially when there's another one up there. Like I don't know how good that tank is in that other car either, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, that might be in better condition for a pattern than the other one. Anyway, so I'm just getting this stuff shuffled down there, and we'll have a clean up and a sweep up. So at least when we get that, hopefully get that duck in here. I'm hoping sometime quick this week, if I can. But you've got to get all this crap out of the road. It's pain, and yeah. I can see these fucking rat trap, fucking whatever these things are, going to be just an absolute thorn on my side. Like it was meant to be 1 or 2 days. And it's now Monday morning. They started Thursday. They were meant to make 60 and it's still the same as it was. I thought they would have been down here yesterday or Saturday or whatever, making this stuff and getting it the fuck out of my road. But obviously not. So yeah, it's kind of pisses me off a bit. It's like you're encroaching, like I'm trying to work in here. Like I didn't mind, if it was just going to be one day and they're making a few.
I didn't know how many they were making. It wasn't until well, it was just when I was doing stuff the other day, I was halfway listening to conversations, and somebody said, "Oh, how many are we going to make?" And then somebody said 60 or something like that. I was like, "Fuck me, you barely made 3 or 4. Like they were cutting up parts, but." It's like, well, fuck, if you're doing it at this rate, oh shit, they're going to be here a while. Which is kind of annoying, because it's now, that's causing me like financial problems, really. Like I'm dead broke, totally dead broke. I think, I've got a few dollars to my name, basically, because for the last week I've been doing stuff for nothing, really. I only really finished Dad's doors off because I knew the Hilux was here, and I just wanted to get them blocked out with primer, and then not blocked out with primer, get them skimmed with body filler so they're close to right, and then blow some primer on when I was going to obviously be painting the hood. I was like, well, if I'm going to be painting that, priming that, I might as well at the same time blow some primer on those parts, and at least then it's that next step, you know what I mean? Like I'm probably not going to touch them now for another couple of weeks or whatever, if you know what I mean. It'll be one of those things. I might start coming down here once we get ourselves organised and get some jobs on the go again. I might come down here on a Sunday and just block a door out, and get, over 2 or 3 weeks, get them ready, and then we'll give them another prime on a Sunday or something like that. Just, I'm not worried about charging Dad. I'm not worried about charging Dad for it. But it was good to have those to do. And then he said, look, I'm able to pay you a few dollars to keep you going for a bit until obviously you get some more decent work in here. But this is really holding me up now, because if they're here for another week, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna have to be borrowing money off somebody. Right, just give you a wee update. So I'm getting them cleaned up here. I've got quite a bit of stuff upstairs. All the crap that was on here. Some stuff that was down here I put upstairs. The bumpers I've just poked down here behind that tractor. They are all Studebaker ones, but we couldn't work out whether they were off this model or not. And from a lot of the ones I've seen online, they were different. For that particular model, so I know there's quite a few parts of various Studebakers up there, so they're probably off some of the other variations. So yeah, I'm just in the midst of cleaning up. I've got to put that box upstairs and that a few bits and pieces here, and I'll throw that bumper up there and that fuel tank, and that's probably it. On that back of the seat, and possibly those springs, but I might keep those springs down here because we were going to use them as a pattern to try and make springs for that thing at some point. But yeah, so that's pretty much, I've just back at it. Oh, and I've got a freaking steering column here to throw up there as well. Bloody awkward trying to do it by yourself though. Be handy if I was halfway up and somebody could just hand me bits like this. So I'm not going up and down all the freaking time. So I'm just taking 5 minutes. So yeah. And then I can shuffle this back out of the road and they can have a wee bit more room to chop up some more shit, I guess, until they get out of here. Hopefully they're not here for too long. I'd like to have that truck in here this week if I can. The owner of the shed's thinking of maybe using that tractor to maybe drag it that way and then push it back in. I'm just not 100% sure what we're going to do there. I need to talk to the owner of the duck. He's actually got a military museum. At some point I'll go out there and have a look and do a video on it when I get a chance. But yeah, it's kind of where we're at the moment. Yeah, I was really hoping these guys were going to be in here Saturday and Sunday frickin' chopping all this crap up and getting it done, but yeah, I don't know what the story is. Bit of a pain in the butt though. Like I didn't mind them being in there a couple of 3 days or something like that and getting some stuff done, but it's now the next week. Like they started Thursday and they were here Friday, and doesn't look like they might have been here Saturday at some point, but and done a little bit more. But yeah, like I thought they would have got hooked into it on Saturday and Sunday just to try and get them at least chopped up and cleaned up, if you know what I mean. Even if they had to take the stuff somewhere else to finish assembling it or something like that. But yeah, I don't really need them here freaking like too much longer. Yeah, I'll have another couple of minutes and I'll get the last of the stuff cleaned up, and then I'm just not quite sure what I'm going to do. I'll show you. I was going to show you this the other day. I was making that little seat there, a low seat for sitting on for welding, scooting around the floor. It's an old tractor seat, just some of the scraps I had from where you had that bracing and that 65 and the material that I used in holding that Dodge, making that Dodge, what do you want to call it, dolly. So it's just the wheels off that. But I run out of welding wire, so I got another real wire there to put in as well. Some points I'll do that as well. Yeah, I made it out of a bit of scrap, and I made it too skinny for a start off. I was just trying to use what I had cut up without trying to cut up too much more, but I just added an extra couple of short bits and then welded a piece on it because it was too narrow. I wanted to tip over all the time, but it's quite good now. But I've just got to do a little, put a couple more welds on this so it doesn't break off, if you know what I mean, because I run out. But yeah, it'll just be handy. You're down low working on something low, like on rockers or something like that. You know, I haven't got a big lift here to stand up and work on yet. Who knows? At some point, if I can get some, I don't know. I'm just trying to work out what I'm going to do here, to be honest. Right. So, update again. I've basically cleaned up here. I can't really do much else of this stuff. I've sort of got to go through when I start buttoning up the very last of the stuff on here. I was hoping the paint would have been here. It's about 3. Still not here yet, not that I've seen. Well, it hasn't been delivered to the house anyway in recent time. So I think what I might do is just feed that roll of wire onto that, so that's ready to go at some point. And yeah, I'll give you a bit of a quick sweep around here. Kind of lost motivation. Actually, frickin', I'm not sure if I showed you. I cleaned up a wee bit out of here earlier on this morning. I shifted a lot of the crap out of the way over here. I feel like I'm walking around everything. Yeah, hold on. Everything seems to be in the road. Out here, so I shifted all this crap here over. So what I do is try and get that out of the road. Well, maybe we might better angle it in and just pull it in here. Maybe. That mightn't be in the road. But yeah, I shifted all the stuff, and there was a couple of big frickin' hunks of old concrete block bits with some steel in them. Those two there. I don't know if I've just, I'm hoping I've only just sort of just strained a little bit. I feel frickin' a bit sore in the back. So the last thing I need is to be frickin' off again for frickin' weeks with my back, or days with my back again. I just feel a bit stiff. So yeah, and I haven't seen these guys come back, so I'm hoping they frickin' don't piss around too long with this shit. But yeah, I'm kind of cleaning up here the best I can be without getting all this other stuff out of the road at some point. I don't have my paint, so I can't paint that stuff, and at this point in time, I'd probably only just spray the inside of it anyway. So, and I've got to get this outside. We think we need fuel for this. I don't think he's bought any fuel for it. Just need another 20 litres or whatever just to throw in it, just to keep it ticking over for another month or two. Oh, there's the paint there. Damn, didn't even see that. Awesome. Oh, well, at least I can have a look at that. Make sure everything I've got in there I need. So we'll do that in a second. But yeah, didn't even hear them. Anyway, yeah. So we'll have a quick look at this. And yeah, I'd like to moved that out of the road before I sprayed, but we might do that in the morning. I'll just get myself prepared anyway. Come back in a second. Right, let's open this up. Just have a wee look, see what's in here. Just in case we're missing something. I didn't order this, so we got in here. Where the hell did this come from? Juicer. And no. Oh, it's got some Southern paints. Colour mix 2K. Oh yeah. Clear. The hardener must do both, I'm assuming. I like how these guys don't put any instructions on. Oh, it's 2 to 6, it's 2 to 1. What does that say? Nothing. Why can't you just write 2 to 1, 4 to 1, whatever? I'll have to Google that. You can see the piece of steel there. No, I was hoping they'd sent a piece of metal back just to get a check the colour. I'll have to go grab the bonnet. I'll do that. Just want to make sure we are close. This is close. It's about half full. That's alright. Just to looks like they just took the paint coat and just mixed it. To me, might be alright. This looks a bit, you know, they could have mixed the paint coat and then just pulled it back a little, so it wasn't quite so dark. Now this is a 20-odd-year-old car. They could have just pulled it around a little bit. Just looks a wee bit red to me, but that's fine. It mightn't be too bad. We'll just have to see. Maybe if just a couple of coats, we'll just see how it covers. But maybe only 2 or 3 coats might be enough to get that colour, or close to that colour. Hard to tell until you get it. Pretty sure too. But anyway, that'll do for today. Because the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go borrow Dad's 6-volt charger and we'll throw this on the charge overnight. So at least if we throw some fuel in this in the morning, so I'm pretty sure he hasn't put anything in it. I'll just double check that. Sounds empty. Yeah, it's got about half an inch of fuel in it and it's just not enough. yeah, just get about half an inch or about an inch of fuel. It's not really enough to keep it running, but we'll get the battery charged and we'll give the battery a boost overnight, and yeah, we'll get some fuel for it at least, and we can back it out in the morning and we can clean this down and spray the red on it in the morning and then leave it for an hour or two. Well, we won't put any clear on the inside of it. The original hasn't got any clear on the inside of it. If it was my own and I was, trying to make it nice, but I would, but it hasn't got any clear on the inside of it, so we'll just do what they did and then leave it for a while, flip it over, blow some colour on the other side and then on that other piece, and yeah, go from there. I'll drop it down heaps lower. I won't leave it on the 2 panel stands, but we'll worry about that in the morning. I'll go get the charger and at least then sure that is off here, and then we can give that a charge up and put some fuel on it in the morning. Right,